My husband and I moved from New York State to Ecuador in 2020 when he was deported by the United States. And something I was not prepared for when having a baby in another country is that every country has their own laws around what you can and can't name a baby.
Hi, this is me, Sam. I was born and raised in Queens, New York. Technically born in Manhattan, but that doesn't matter. This is my husband, Christian. He was born in Cuenca in Ecuador. His family moved to Queens when he was about 2 years old. We meet in fall of 2016 in Astoria at a bar called Oliver's. This is at Kinfolk 94. We love this place. I don't think it exists anymore though. 2 years later, October of 2018, we move in together in this apartment in Astoria. He proposes on my parents' anniversary, very sweet. We had no interest in a long engagement. I had been engaged before and the whole wedding planning thing was not it for me. So we get married in December, right after Christmas. We did our vows privately before our ceremony, highly recommend. We have a cocktail party to celebrate and then we go do karaoke in K-Town, 10 out of 10. This is where things take a turn. This is the last photo I have of my husband before he gets unexpectedly detained by ICE. February 14, 2019, the day before our honeymoon, ICE agents show up at the door, take him away unexpectedly. He texts me, ICE got me, I'm detained. I write back, goodbye. I think it's a joke. It's definitely not a joke. We spend the next year and a few months separated, fighting his immigration case while he's inside, I'm outside. I start packing up our life because he's gonna be deported. May of 2020, he's able to get out of detention. June of 2020, I find out I'm pregnant. We have a few months to say goodbye to everyone and pack up everything. December 2020, he takes his last steps in the United States. Here we are, heading to Ecuador. February 2021, I give birth to our daughter here in Cuenca, and nothing else matters anymore.
So when my husband, after a month of her life, and we had this name picked out like as soon as we found out she was a girl, went to go register our daughter, he was told, you can't name her that, it's not a real name. He was told that her name was a derivative of other names, and he was given options of like, oh, you could give this longer name instead. After a very long fight at the civil registry, he found out that because I'm a foreigner, I'm from the US, we can essentially name her whatever we want. I had to go, prove my identity, bring the baby. It was a whole big thing. But the funniest part about this, to me, is that anytime we told aunts and uncles about it, they laughed because apparently this happens all the time. And now a lot of our cousins are around the same age as us, so they're in their 30s, so they were born, 80s, early 90s, and people didn't have cell phones. And so most of the men in the family just picked new names and named the baby. I could not imagine the fight I would get into with my husband.
But this is not the average birthing experience in Cuenca, and I don't want to act like it is. Most women here actually get C-sections, and I don't want to hypothesize why exactly that is, but I'm sure it has to do with how the healthcare system is set up. Also, it's very hard to find someone who will administer epidurals here. It's not common like it is in the US. So anyway, I wanted an unmedicated birth. I had an unmedicated birth, but let me tell you about the scariest 40 seconds of my life. The birthing house that I gave birth in is run by an OBGYN. She is super experienced and she knows what to do in more dangerous situations. You also have to agree that if something goes really wrong, you have to go to the clinic because she doesn't have medication or the tools to do things at the birthing house. She also does classes with the couples every week leading up to the birth, from like week 35 or 34 or something like that. And so one of these classes was about what happens in like a situation. And one of them were like, if the baby on their way out gets the cord wrapped around their neck, what happens? So I'm in the tub, I'm about to give birth. My husband is behind me, like holding my legs. This is a little graphic. There's your warning. My daughter's head is out. I pushed her head out and she's purple. Purple and the cord is tightly around her neck. Now I can see this, obviously. And my doctor is just like, do not move. Whatever you do, don't move. Now, if you've ever given birth, you know that not moving while the baby is half out of your body is quite hard. Meanwhile, I can see what's going on and I'm screaming, is she okay, is she okay, is she okay? And my doctor's like, relax, relax, don't move, don't move, don't move. I like to say she was like Edward Scissorhands because she came out with clamps and whatever she did, she got the cord released and my daughter was totally fine. She then was like, okay, you can push again. I pushed, my daughter was out and that was it. But let me tell you, those like 20, 30, 40 seconds were the scariest moments of my life. But once I had her in my arms, I just forgot about everything. Anyway, it was the best experience for me. But I don't recommend it to everyone. The healthcare I received here was great. I had exactly the birth I wanted. I had a water birth in a birthing house. I had no medication. I did not go to a hospital. We were home like 15 hours later. So I had the best experience giving birth here in Cuenca. But secondly, my daughter is a US citizen. If you are a US citizen, you have to meet some requirements and you give birth or your child is born abroad for whatever life circumstance. You just have to go to the embassy and register them. You have to bring like a bunch of documents proving who you are, who they are, that you've lived in the US for a certain amount of time. And yeah, we had her US passport and her birth certificate like 4 weeks later. So she's able to travel back and forth with me and she's a dual citizen. So we don't have to worry about that.
Oh my God. Do you know what? Fair play to her. I reckon it was really hard at first with her husband being deported. and then to move to a country or a place where she's not really familiar, and like she said, she doesn't want to get all like political and illegal wording. Like the healthcare system isn't like the same as US because they don't obviously have the medication as they do. But what a woman! And when she said about umbilical cord right around her daughter's throat, I was thinking, oh no, oh my god, don't say anything like that's bad. It's fine, her daughter's okay. But yeah. It's weird to think like everywhere around the world has different systems of women giving birth. I just think it's incredible. And it's amazing like what your body can do. And she did it with no medication, which is even more crazy. And it's a huge inspiration as well to other women that are quite nervous. Because some women might be like, oh, I'm not up for it if I can't have like my epidural. And she's saying like, I did it with nothing. And I know everyone's different with birthing and stuff, but good for her. And it's like her daughter has a US passport and citizenship, which is good as well. But that must be nice, going back to your husband's country and home place and having a daughter there. That must be so sweet. I think that's really nice. I reckon it's hard at first. They were together for 2 years, got engaged, then they got married a couple months later. And then for him to be deported as well, I reckon that was really difficult. But it's nice to see they have a happy ending at the end of it. But the fact she like boxed up all her life, say goodbye to her family and friends, I reckon that was difficult as well. And to not really have like your mum there. I don't know if her mum was there, but like her mum there or her friends supporting her when she's giving birth. Like I reckon that was difficult. Sweet though, I'm glad that everything's okay and she's enjoying her time.